Hello and welcome to the show. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. I am going to have a mission because I wasn't exactly ready to go live, but we'll make it work. We're here to talk about Jonathan Majors and a lot of other things. Jonathan Majors obviously has had a big week um, because this week he was found guilty of charges related to the incident with his girlfriend that happened earlier in the year. Um, I guess it would have been before Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, so that might have even
Yeah,
been
it was early
late
on, right?
last year, whatever it was. On December 18th, Majors was found guilty on two charges: harassment and third-degree reckless assault. Within hours of that news dropping, Marvel made an announcement of their own. They were done with Jonathan Majors.
Hmm.
And this leaves a hole in the MCU as Majors Kang was slated to be the big bad of the next set of Avengers films. So, of course, the big question is, where does Marvel go from here? Now, I want to say up front that obviously we know, um, you know, there's a victim in this case, and um, this conversation that we're going to have is not meant to be in poor taste, if you will. But this is a podcast that is about comics and comic book movies and things of that nature. So our focus is going to be mostly on how this affects the MCU. That being said, I have a lot of complicated feelings about this entire situation. Um, he was found guilty on two charges, like I said,
Hmm.
not guilty on two other charges, which I think is also important to know. Um, and I saw the video. I don't know if you guys ended up watching it, but there's a video of Majors and his girlfriend from that night. And I wasn't on the jury. I'm not a lawyer. I looked at it and I said, this looks like a guy who's trying to escape a situation.
Oh, the him like running from the car and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It seems like he was um not trying to escalate, but it's a limited amount of footage. We really don't know. I don't know if the jury saw more than what we did. Just not enough information.
Hmm.
And so because of that, I feel very conflicted about this, and this isn't the place for me to really delve too deeply into that. Um it's also frustrating. Obviously, it's a very different situation, but it's frustrating the way that this has gone down versus the way that, say, it went down with Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
Um,
and even Johnny Depp, fairly, you know, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, fairly recently. Yeah, the larger sphere of these kind of situations.
yeah. So we'll leave the majority of that part to CNN or TMZ or whoever it is that feels like they want to cover all that. But Jonathan Majors was fired by Marvel. So
Oh,
that is a done deal. That is a done deal. We
but
don't have a Kang anymore. The MCU is Kangless. And
Kangless.
what we're here to discuss is what happens next. Like where do we go from here?
Saw a rumor that someone said he had in his contract that no one else could play Kang. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Interesting. That would nice. That would definitely complicate things. That would complicate them immensely if that's the case. But I feel like that's too proactive on his part in the sense of like trying to secure this for the long haul kind of thing.
Amin says Marvel has not made an official announcement. Sure. It's all over the place. Normally, I feel like Marvel, DC, well, Marvel in particular, a lot of the times when things come out about what's going on over there in their camp, they don't make an announcement. When they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, I don't recall Marvel saying, okay, Don Cheadle or
Yeah.
this dude's fired. They just said Don Cheadle's hired.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can take this as gospel. I don't think that there's any chance he's not going to be fired if he's not officially fired.
We wouldn't have found out about that so quick if it didn't
Yeah,
come from on high.
yeah. He's done. Um, the big question is, do they continue with the Kang saga, or do they scrap it all together? Kale brought up the idea that Majors had it in his contract that no one else could play the character. I suppose that even though that sounds crazy, and my inclination is to say that that's not real, at the same time, when you're dealing with variants as they are, when you look at every other iteration of variants across the MCU, the only case that I can think of, well, I guess you have like Captain America, but like the only real case since they introduced that concept has been that Kang, Jonathan Majors, is the only person to be him. You know, we've seen various Lokis that were all different people. But Kang is Kang. And so while I'm not sure if I believe that, it's not unbelievable.
It's definitely not. I mean, I think now it's a search for a replacement, and we'll get some sort of like whatever they've shot. I'm sure that they can piece together something and edit the words so that he's like, this is a variant, and now like a new variant kind of takes over. See, if actors had provided their rights to
Oh boy.
Oh fuck, man, come on.
I think the easiest thing is just find somebody else, pay him a day's worth to be like, yo, I need you to say these lines and say actually there are variants in the rest of the universe. Okay, bye.
Nah. Why would that would be ridiculous? Why would they bring him back after they fired him?
Just to make that line, just to do like
Marco. He was fired for domestic abuse. They're not going to hire him again to do a line. If they want to recast, which at this point I think is the way to go. I don't think I think that it just makes things inside the MCU too weird if they scrap the whole Kang thing after they've been building to it. Yeah, it hasn't lit the world on fire. We know that. But it's what they have. It's what they've been going towards. And I truly believe that the Kang story they've been building has been good. I'm really interested. I don't know if anyone caught Loki season 2, but Kang's all over the place. It's Victor Timely, right? It's not like Kang, but that was a really cool and interesting story, and I don't want them to drop it.
But didn't they sort of put a bit of a bow on it too? So like if they dropped it, like it wouldn't be like the massive Kang arc they had planned, but they it's not awful.
The way Loki season 2 ends, if they really, really wanted to say we're just done with Kang outright, they could, and I guess they could get away with it because it ends in such a way. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who is now reinvigorated to want to go and watch Loki. You could theoretically do that.
To watch a guy guilty of domestic abuse on screen for 8 straight episodes.
Right.
Yikes.
I don't know. Doesn't really.
Go ahead, Marco.
I mean, I think recast makes the most sense. It's just this would be the first time that, well, I guess not the first time because Don Cheadle too, but like a lead like one of the huge players. They've made all those in what was it? I think it was in Ant-Man where they showed like the entire stadium's worth of like other Kangs and stuff. Like that's all new assets to be done and new editing, and I mean I think also things are just going to be delaying movies now as well, because they have to figure out how do they write this new actor in to some degree. How do you make it plausible that this individual looks different?
What? Why? Why? Why would they have to do that?
Yeah, I mean the Avengers films are still 5 years out. They're not even written yet.
They're not going to go back and retroactively change the way that Kang looks. That they've never done that. They're not going to go to Ant-Man and the Wasp and take every single scene and put Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle or whoever in over Jonathan Majors. That's done. This is about what happens going forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe that is awkward. I mean, it is awkward, right? But what else can you do? Like, this is the situation that they're in. Someone in the chat brought up, who would even want to take that role on? And that I think is probably the bigger consideration. You can always find an actor, but can they find the person who's going to portray the role best? Can they find someone to fill the shoes of Jonathan Majors, which, if we're talking about pure acting, that man was acting his ass off.
That dude ate.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Loki season 1, he was like the highlight of the episode he was in. Like, he capped that show.
Yeah. And he does a great job in season 2 as well. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, for as much as a lot of people didn't like it, I didn't think he was the problem. I thought he was great.
He and Michelle Pfeiffer carried that movie.
Yeah. Atomic Hound says, since Jonathan Majors is out, how about Lee Majors? I don't know if a race swap is what is on order.
Well, listen, we got to make him comic book accurate.
Yes, now's the time to focus on comic book
accuracy.
Right. Yeah, and Pete Foltz says season 2 of Loki is really worth the watch. I thought it was real good. I really did.
I haven't been able to keep up. It didn't have the same kind of like energy or fervor as it once did. The first 2 episodes were, for me, dragged, and I lost a bit of interest. Is it worth going back though? Like I guess are things being revealed in such a way that Kang is being further integrated into the universe, or is he just making appearances for the sake of like the plot and story?
Like I said before, it ends in a way where you could stop the Kang stuff if you wanted to, but I don't really want to spoil anything else. If they just didn't want to use them, they could not use them.
Sure. Okay.
Some people in chat saying drop Kang. I see quite a bit of that. You know what's bugged me out over the last week? This is so strange to me because we've known about Kang being the big bad of the MCU for a long time. And then all of a sudden, everybody's the biggest Kang fan of all time. Then Jonathan Majors gets dropped as Kang, and I'm not saying this about anybody in the chat, but like, I see so many people saying, oh, by the way, Kang was never that cool of a villain anyway. Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? Kang has existed since way before Jonathan Majors got the role. You just found out about the character or whatever, and now you think you're the biggest Kang expert to say, yeah, the character was never that cool. Who really likes Kang anyway? A lot of people like Kang. A lot of people love Kang. Forget about Jonathan Majors. We're talking about a character that has existed since maybe even before Majors was alive. Probably.
Yeah.
So he's not the only factor. There are a lot of people who would love to see the Kang story continue. Remember, the MCU, as far as we know, is going to exist in perpetuity.
Yeah.
It ain't going anywhere anytime soon. As bad as people want to see it burn down, that's not happening. They have Disney money. So what that means is that for a lot of these characters, it's going to be one and done. This is our chance. They're not going to do Kang again and give it another shot in 10 years. It's over. So if we don't get it now, we're not getting it.
I don't know though. That's the attitude right now. But eventually they're gonna have to reboot. They're gonna have to if they think they're gonna keep going. And so say Kang stops and we pivot to Doom or Annihilus or whatever. Maybe once the air has cleared with the Jonathan Major stuff, I'm not saying they recast Jonathan Major, certainly, uh, you know, but they may, in 15 years or whatever, geez, that may not even be a long enough timeline.
Yeah.
They bring Kang back in the same way that they do in the comics. It's just like, oh, this is Kang doing a different time thing in a different time way, and wibbly wobbly, Bob's your uncle.
Not Uncle Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I know you didn't mean it like that. He says, I still think Kang is a BC tier villain. I mean, that's personal opinion. Like, a lot of people love Kang. It really doesn't matter if he's a B or C tier villain, because the fact of the matter is that people love him. So he's a beloved character by many. I mean, you couldn't, everybody on the internet was the biggest Kang fan on earth when Jonathan Majors was announced to play the role. It just is what it is. I would love to see the story continue. There are great interactions that it can happen with Doctor Doom, for example, who people want to see, sort of take on the mantle of the big bad. That would be awesome. That would be really great. So I would love to not lose that. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that Marvel cannot find an actor to take on the character, or they simply just don't want to go down that road anymore. What happens next? What do you do?
Can I read you a synopsis a friend of mine pitched?
Sure.
They said, this is the perfect time to introduce the Silver Surfer. Have him traverse the multiverse, hunting down Kangs and eradicating them for failing Galactus, however, and then proving to be a threat and / betraying him. Eradicating them for failing Galactus or proving to be a threat and betraying Galactus, I think. That way you get rid of the Kang stuff and show how scary, powerful the Silver Surfer is. And then when Galactus does show up, show how he's the only hope for the multiverse when he does turn against Galactus.
Interesting.
The Silver Surfer turning.
Yeah. And they, and then he eventually partners with the Fantastic Four.
That's sort of compelling. I think the problem in my mind with that, and it's the problem with pivoting in any direction, is that the slate of films is what it is, and it's not changing. Yes, Avengers 5 can become something different than Kang's Dynasty, but Avengers 5 is coming. There's no chance or time to insert another movie in the margins, right? So they have the room that they have. You got, and these are the movies that I think can best be utilized to switch stuff up. And of course, you always have end credit scenes and things like that. But Avengers 5, right, can be anything. It doesn't have to be Kang Dynasty. They haven't set that up. They haven't set up Kang Dynasty. And we have Fantastic Four and Secret Wars. Those are the movies where I think you have the ability to do bigger things. But they're coming out in that order, I'm pretty sure. And before that, you've got shit like Thunderbolts. What can you really do with that?
Yeah, especially on that multi-span, multiversal span. Yeah.
Right. So where do you have the opportunity to pivot in another direction? Everybody says Doom, but do you really, honestly, do you really want them to hotshot Doom and give him the biggest moment in Doom's life, right? The big story is the Secret Wars story. Do you really want to hotshot that and then burn the character? Not that he can never be used again, but you know how it is in the MCU.
Yeah, because that's what it'll be. It'll be a one shot.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I think using a new character, damn. But then you're not getting this guy back to finish up, to tie up loose ends. So like you're damned if you do and if you don't.
Yeah.
I think this is another brick in the wall for Marvel, to be honest. Marvel has had a string of losses, and perception has been really rough for Marvel over the last couple years, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is just the thing that they did not need to happen. Because it, like Marco said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's almost nothing they can do right. Because if they recast the character, people are going to say, oh, I don't want this reminder of Majors, and this is too awkward, and it's going to be a comparison between the actor they cast and Majors. Then they're going to bring up T'Challa. You can recast Jonathan Majors. You can't recast T'Challa. It's just a lot. And then on the other side, if you choose to go in a different direction, nothing's going to feel organic because it's not the plan. It hasn't been the plan.
But you can't stick to the plan anymore. Like people have to realize that regardless, they're gonna have a bad taste in their mouth because of this fallout.
Fucking DC did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, they just kind of
we got two Flashes
they
in the same movie.
That's right.
They stuck to the plan and didn't mess with it. Like
they didn't give a damn.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And it was a movie in the can, it is a different situation, but they didn't worry about it. They just said, okay, this is what we have, this is what we're going with. Honestly, just reboot the MCU. Come on, man.
Nah, bro, you can't do that.
Come on.
At least not at this point.
Yeah. That's not happening. It's not realistic. Let's be serious. So because they lost Jonathan Majors as Kang, they're going to reboot the whole MCU, the most profitable. This is what I don't understand. This is what I'll never understand. The MCU is the most profitable franchise in the history of film, and yet people think that Marvel and Disney are going to just be like, yeah, let's end it. Because you're over it, they're going to end it? That's so silly.
You haven't read a Marvel comic?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh, I mean, the new issue 1 is bound to come out for any character next week.
Even Marvel Comics has never rebooted officially. Like, they've never had a hard reboot, as far as I know. Unless you count Heroes Reborn.
That's what I was going to say.
Is that a hard reboot, though? Because it's not fresh. Like, it's in the aftermath of something.
Yeah. Yeah, and my thing certainly isn't a. I'm not saying they'll reboot yet, but around the same time as they're gonna need to recast a Steve Rogers and a Tony Stark, then they can think about Kang again in my earlier scenario.
Yeah, I wonder about that now. Kevin Feige just came out and said a few weeks ago, we didn't cover it here, but he talked about how, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a major rumor that they were going to bring back Tony Stark. They're going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said that's not going to happen. We worked hard to get to that place of his death having meaning and value, and we don't want to undercut that by bringing him back. So I think in that case, they're playing for keeps. And I'm not so sure anymore as I was before that we'll ever see Tony Stark again.
Just eventually they're going to run out of stuff. Like they're burning through it.
Like another 20 years, we're going to have, the reflection of, oh, look at where some of these people are kind of thing.
I don't know. They're So okay. If you look at the MCU, right? You look at the Marvels, you look at what's been happening. Even bigger than the Kang story, because I do feel like that hasn't risen to the front of the storytelling quite yet. We saw him in Loki, we saw him in Ant.
Hmm.
The bigger thing that they've been playing towards, as far as I'm concerned, is that the multiverse is breaking down.
Yeah.
That there's a big problem. We've got the incursions and everything else. So if you really want to go away from Kang, because clearly the Kang's war was going to happen concurrently with the multiverse breaking. And we know how they influence that and whatever, but it's not happening just because of them. So if you just want to ignore that completely and go full steam ahead on the multiverse breaking down, Secret Wars can be about exactly that. It can be about the fact that the incursions are just happening too much. This Earth, 616, is at risk. And it's at risk of dying to the only other Earth that still exists, which is the Foxverse Earth.
Mm.
And then those two crash together, and now they have to fight to see which Earth will stand in the end, type of thing.
Put 'em up.
I think the bigger and by the way, I think that was probably always going to happen. The bigger question mark is what happens with Avengers 5. What does that movie become when it had a very specific destiny to be Kang centric? It was all about Kang, and presumably where they were going to beat him.
Mm.
Where do you go with that now? And I don't believe in Doom. I don't believe that you just hotshot him into being the villain of 5. I don't believe you hotshot Galactus. So if Kang is off the table, where do you go? Do you just cancel that movie altogether? I don't think they can do that, but
You have to go cosmic, right? Like, do something big enough to warrant, a multiversal either repair or reboot in a sense, not necessarily full reboot, but everything was a dream, that kind of thing. But someone you can, like you say, hotshot at the same time. Mephisto might be a decent way to go there,
I mean, the presumably Young Avengers are right around the corner. Maybe it's a matter of doing a hard pivot to the next generation and seeing what villains they can fight against and how they can learn from the previous Avengers to do good in the world. And that's, for me, maybe a big enough story that where you can pass the baton and worry a bit less about and having to try to fumble with the rest of what's currently going on in the universe.
It's not a terrible idea, actually. Maybe for Young Avengers, do Iron Lad. In the comics, Iron Lad is Kang as a teenager or whatever.
Mm.
Get some young kid who maybe kind of looks like Jonathan Majors to be Iron Lad in Young Avengers, shrink that the amount of time that's passing in the MCU, let him grow up just a little bit more, to a full-fledged actor, make him real Kang, and then boom, we've solved the Kang problem.
you're saying have Avengers 5 be Iron Lad as a part of the Young Avengers. Time passes, that he ages, he becomes the real Kang, and then the Young Avengers have to beat him.
I'm not even saying make that Avengers 5.
That's what the story should turn into.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, honestly. And then you can kind of you'll knock out two birds with one stone, get rid of Majors, still have the A version. Well, they're all variants, so still have a Kang, and you can kind of do what you want with that new iteration.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Secret Wars is a very easy movie to make. I think Avengers 5 is a lot harder.
Yeah.
it just doesn't have a clear direction now. The clear direction for that particular movie definitely feels like Kang. Um, I really don't know what you can do. I mean, they've got the Sentry in Thunderbolts. Um, so maybe, they're introducing him there. We don't know if the Void is going to be in the MCU. I assume so. So maybe you can do the Void. Maybe it's the Avengers having to team up again to stop the Void from
Yeah,
destroying the Earth.
that makes sense.
And maybe his power is so great that it further damages the fabric of time and space in the multiverse, and that's what cracks the universal door, the multiversal door open.
Well, I don't even think you need a reason, because in the last Spider-Man movie, um, they've already had instances of the cracking of universes, like the crossing over of those things, and so, I mean, you can probably just bank and play off of that.
Spider-Man, I mean, Doctor Strange, the Marvels, they've been dealing with this for a long time.
Yeah.
And in the Marvels, well, it's a spoiler, but that movie's been out. I don't care. Um, in the Marvels, you know, they do crack a hole in the multiverse, and it gets sealed, but there's a weakness there. And I think if something else happens, I think one more thing has to happen to just, make it real. And it has to happen in a movie that everybody's going to watch. Because what happened in the Marvels, I don't even know how many people in this chat know what I just said.
Yeah.
So it has to happen in a movie that everybody sees. Avengers 5 is a great place to do that. I really, really can't think of another clean way to make this work. Because remember, Secret Wars is fine. That movie will work on the basis of the fact that you're going to have Hugh Jackman, theoretically, Hugh Jackman Wolverine in it, versus Tom Holland Spider-Man, or maybe Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Who knows, right? You can do anything. How are we getting there? What's the road to Secret Wars? That, to me, is the biggest question. And Marvel has to figure out how to answer that with something compelling. They can't just throw some shit at the screen. If an Avengers movie sucks, this whole thing is blown.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think they know that. Like the comedy writers that have been on, Ant-Man and all the rest have sort of taken a step back, willingly or unwillingly, on the Avengers films. And it seems like Marvel realizes there's got to be some gravity.
Yeah.
Get fucking Kenneth Branagh in there.
Yeah, dude. Get some heavy duty directors. I saw that Sam Raimi was on a short list.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know. I don't think I would be mad about that, but he wouldn't be the first person to come to mind.
Not my first, second, or third, but what are you gonna do?
I don't think it'd be mine either, to be honest. And I like the guy.
I do too. I just didn't like Doctor Strange. Those Spider-Man movies he made were incredible. And I even like Spider-Man 3. I could watch it right now, I tell you. We just got Atomic Hound. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Atomic Hound with the 20 spot. What the MCU must avoid? Avengers The Crossing with a young Tony Stark at the end would be at least a big movie disaster as it was in the comics. And that contributed to their 90s bankruptcy. Happy holidays, pals. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too, Atomic Hound. Happy holidays to everybody that listens to this show. Really, really appreciate you guys. You guys make this doable. You're the reason why we do this. Thank you so much.
For the season.
Nice.
That's right.
It's a shame that's straight where the MCU is heading, though.
Yeah. Man, it's so crazy. Like 10 years from now, whether the MCU is around or not, we're going to look back on this time, the last 3 years, and think, wow, what an era. Because it's like a series of unfortunate events that have really damaged the brand in a way that I really just didn't think was possible because of how strong it was. Think about what happened in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And tell me how much of this was Marvel's fault. Disney Plus and the mandate for television shows. COVID, which screwed up the whole, MCU. I mean, my God, by now, I think we were supposed to have Avengers 5 already.
Probably. Yeah.
I think it was originally supposed to be like a 2023, 24 thing. I'm not 100% sure about that. But we had that, right? Jonathan Majors and everything that's gone on with him. The strike, both strikes,
that's right,
which have pushed things back. So all of those are things that have nothing to do with Marvel. Like it's not a failure of their effort or planning.
It's not like Black Widow.
Right. Well, hey. It's not like Eternals.
Oof.
I think if anything, we're lucky that Endgame and Infinity War happened when they did.
Yep.
Because had they crossed that 2020 Rubicon, boy, we would that era would have ended. We may not even be here.
Yeah.
If that happened.
We would have been literally living in that 5-year gap.
It's crazy how like and think about it. 2018 Infinity War, 2019 Endgame. How rare is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure Kevin Feige at some point in the intervening time has had to say, "Yo," I mean, he didn't say "yo," but like, thank fuck we did that. Thank fuck we put those actors through hell and made them make 2 movies at once. Thank goodness we put those editors through hell and made them edit 2 movies at once. Thank fuck. What a different world we be living in.
Yep.
And then they did COVID. Oh no, you said that it wasn't them. That's right.
No, that's well known by now.
Oh, right. Marvel's fault.
Well, Disney's fault.
Disney.
Marvel doesn't have that kind of money.
That's right. Started in a small lab in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was crazy. The bat from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Anastasia. That's what I'm thinking of. Oh well.
I don't think that there's a clean answer to this. I really don't.
I think it's gonna suck either way, and not in my usual skepticism, but like I think whatever happens is gonna be awkward, and it's gonna they're gonna take a hit again.
And I know we've talked about like the MCU being maybe one movie away from being good again, or like really needing something to knock it out of the park. Man, this is knocked that expectation down a bit. Like now they really need to do something. I feel like the next thing that they do coming out of the Kang stuff, or the major stuff rather, is knock something out of the park. Really blow people out of the water, because all of the controversy here, plus the feeling of diminishing value for Marvel, I think is all going to contribute to long-term problems, especially if they want to continue this, and it will be a perpetual machine.
And the fucked up thing about that is due to, of course, the nature of the way that film and television are made, they have no ability to really react to any of this. Like, they don't have the ability to say, okay, we're going to switch it up. We're not going to make this movie. We're going to make a movie that's going to blow everyone away, based on the response that we have had. They can't do that. Next up is Deadpool, I think, or Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Those movies are that it is what it is. The slate is what it is. So I really feel like they're between a rock and a hard place, and it sucks because I have never, ever, ever loved movies and a saga the way that I have this. And it's like, man, I don't want it to go out with a whimper. I don't want it to be something to where we look at and say, what if, what if these mistakes weren't made? What if not COVID? What if this, that, and the third? That's an unfortunate thought.
Season 3.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, I think, we were lucky to get the, 12 years of films we did.
Yeah.
And they were all, for the most part, fairly strong and all contributed to one big arc. I I I think that the maybe the expectation should have been that they should have taken a bit more of a break,
Like in between the end game stuff.
to to recombobulate and replan,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a plan.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
They
We
had
see
until it fell apart.
we see how I mean, it is what it is though. Like
Right.
that just happens, but they had a plan. Um it's really a bummer. I trust Marvel when they are pressured though, when they need to succeed. I feel they make better products. I think that because of all of the projects that they have had to make over the last 3 years, Feige's been stretched thin. I think a lot of the people who make the magic happen have been stretched thin. And I think that, they pivoted away from grabbing on to, you know, great directors and great writers who really brought this stuff to life. When you look at the TV shows, like, I think you can see it most with the action scenes. They just don't really feel big or special. And we know that they have some second unit that just makes generic action scenes. These shows didn't even have showrunners. That's a joke. That's it. That's crazy. And now they can make those changes. We know that they're not doing that going forward, but Echo's already made.
Yep.
They're dropping that shit. They're dropping that shit all at once. And my assumption is because no one cares to sit around and wait week to week for Marvel shows right now.
Well, and it's also a character that nobody cares about.
That too.
That nobody knows, Echo, like what? Before Daredevil?
Well before Daredevil.
Come on.
It's true. And I think that's been a major problem is like you're giving people things they don't care about. And it's hard because who cared about Iron Man before, 2008?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we care about him now. We care about Cap now. We care about Hulk, Thor. We care about these characters now. And they're trying to give us characters that we don't necessarily care about. Echo was cool on the show that she was in, Hawkeye. She was cool. But when we're already like kind of tired of the shows, why are you giving us a show about an ancillary character from a show? Hawkeye's an ancillary character from the fucking Avengers, okay?
Yep.
There's a reason why you make a Hawkeye show, and people were questioning that. But it's buyable. You could buy a Hawkeye show. Why would I want a show about a character who was ancillary in another ancillary character show? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Even a Kingpin show, like that would, like why not that?
Like big, yeah. And to think about the people that like they use to make these things, the production teams behind them, all the time that gets invested there, like that could be going towards bolstering another movie or something that maybe has longer term value for them, not just, well, yeah, this is a character that you saw in something, and maybe we think you might be interested because if we put it out, we think that you're going to be interested in that.
Can I just say, I love to see the chat filled with green names. You VI pals are amazing. Really, really appreciate you all so much. And even if you're not a channel member, thank you for being here. Smash the like button. As ever, we have a draft to do today, and we have to reach the goal. So let's keep it light. Let's do 20. We can do 20. Let's keep it light. I want to make sure we have some fun today. So thank you guys. Hendrik Perry says, I know that we're wondering how to replace the villain, but I wonder about trying to replace the dynamic of Cap versus Iron Man. We don't quite have the hero versus hero dynamic this time around. I'll do you one better. Because the dynamic of them, being at odds, was introduced in Avengers and then obviously furthered in Age of Ultron and everything like that. We don't have any interaction between heroes right now.
Nope.
Not even an antagonistic one. We don't have it at all. And that's been a major, in my opinion, a major problem. It was so exciting, when you got to Avengers and then you get to see all these characters, playing around and interacting with each other. It was so fun. And the Marvels had that to a degree because, it's fun to see these characters play off each other. I've been looking forward to Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel being on screen together for some time. But what we're feeling is the lack of Avengers. It's not as fun.
A lack of bigger things that make the universe feel connected.
Yeah. Right. And can I point out, because I love to point shit like this out, how many people said and continue to say, oh, I want less interaction between the characters. I want more solo stories. I don't want a connected universe. Yeah, well, Marvel heard you years ago, and that's why we're in the shitty situation that we're in.
You said
that's not what's fun about comics, about superhero comics.
You want Echo? Nice. We got it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I guess Kingpin's going to be in that one. So
if Marvel and DC's characters in the comics never interacted, if that was always how it was, there would not currently be a Marvel and DC. So please stop it. Please stop it.
Use your brain.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. You simply don't like it. But to say that it shouldn't be that way is asinine. There's just no way.
It's literally comics. So you can't remove that.
Right. So hopefully now everybody understands why we need to have Avengers movies. To me, there should be an Avengers movie in theaters every 3 years.
How many years have been going? Would have been. Oh yeah.
It's been 12 years. We've had 4.
Okay, that maths.
We're due.
Yeah.
We're overdue.
Yeah,
like technically not by the math, I guess. We're not overdue. It's 4 years. It's been.
Sure.
But we know we're not getting one
until
still for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, like what, 2027, I think, is the next one.
26.
26.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Kang Dynasty was 26. Yeah, and that was that next. Fuck, man. Oh man, hard pivot, dude.
I'm not so sure that the MCU will still be something that people really, really care about in 2027.
It may not be a thing that exists in 2027.
They'll get through this. So we will see Secret Wars. We will see Secret Wars. But after that, big question marks. Big question marks. How they haven't moved forward on the X-Men.
Yeah.
Where is it at?
Well, I mean, the Miss Marvel stuff is building up to it. Like, there's inklings there and overdue, but they're starting to plant the seed, and I like that they're planting the seed. Like they have an idea, maybe not for the long term, and I think that's something similar to what they did with Thanos, where it's like you get little snippets, you get little bits, you set the pieces up so that way ultimately you get to the match.
Yeah, but we're not there anymore. Like, we need something.
Yeah.
It
like
just feels dry.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's rough right now. Atomic Hound says the MCU malaise will affect the DCU launch because many normies don't know the difference. I think that's true as well. I think a lot of people don't know the difference. They don't care the difference. They just want to see superhero movies if they're inclined. And I think DC, to be honest with you though, I think more than being impacted by Marvel, DC's impacted by themselves. because Aquaman, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, not a review, but just we're going to chat about it. That movie's doing really bad.
Damn.
And it's another in a string of DC movies that really did not perform very well. And so are people going to care when it comes time for Superman Legacy about DC? I hope so.
Amen says if Superman Legacy fails, we may see the actual twilight of the superheroes.
Get Alan Moore back somehow for that.
That's good. I think I think that's a little different because we're shifting eras of creative direction. And
the word of mouth may be good for James Gunn's stuff.
Yeah.
But the question is, will that be enough to carry it?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure
people may be excited to go see a blockbuster film, but it might not be a superhero one.
I think we'll talk more about DC a little bit later. We'll get into the Aquaman thing a little later, and I really want to do a post-mortem on this DCU,
the Snyderverse.
Yeah. I can't believe it's over. But normally, guys, when we talk about the MCU, you know, I'm generally positive. No matter what's going on, I generally come on here and ultimately I come down on the side of things will work out. Today, I'm having trouble with that. I'm having trouble. I think, look, is Jonathan Majors the be-all, end-all of acting? No. You can recast it. It's fine. But I just think it's another brick in the wall. I just think it's more water under the bridge. I think that audiences are losing their patience and losing their interest, and Marvel doesn't have anything in the tuck to really bring us back. Deadpool is it. That's it. If Deadpool does not hit, if it doesn't click, that's how you'll know for a fact that things are different now. Because a Deadpool movie has worked. It's worked twice. It's worked twice.
And this one is banking on nostalgia hard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hugh Jackman, supposedly Tobey Maguire.
I've seen rumors that Ben Affleck is in it, and also Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see.
The CWification of the MCU. Woof.
Please no. Listen, the budgets are too big for it to ever look that bad.
That's what you think.
I've never seen anything look as bad as that Batwoman. I
didn't see Batwoman.
Ooh, that was rough.
But that train chase explosion in season 1 of Loki, that looked as bad as any CW scene I've ever seen. And I watched a lot of the CW.
You know what? I don't remember that, so I can't argue with you. I don't even remember that scene.
Burned out of my memory.
I liked Loki. I liked Loki season 1 and 2. I thought they were great. In fact, Kale, I think you. Well, I don't know. I don't want to tell you what you'll like, but I don't know. I thought there was a lot to enjoy in Loki season 2.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I need to turn back to it. I gave up on it. I think I should give it another chance.
Yeah, why not? What's up, Jay? Welcome to the show. You just missed our big conversation about Jonathan Majors. We have a lot more show to do, though. We are not done by a long shot. There is so much more to get into and talk about. We're going to talk about Aquaman, of course. Some big X-Men news, comics-related X-Men news we're going to get into. We finally know when the reboot is occurring. Or the relaunch, rather. I don't like to use the word reboot when associated with Marvel. But, yeah, we know about that. And, of course, we've got a draft to do as long as you guys get us where we need to go as far as our likes goal. We do want to get to 20 likes, so make sure you smash that like button as we move forward. want to mention patreon.com/thecomicspals. And I'm very excited to do that today because I come on here every week and I talk to you guys about our Patreon page to tell you that we've got a lot of great stuff there, and we we appreciate all your support and all that. Today, I have the pleasure of being able to add not one, not two, but 3 names to the Palsverse.
Damn.
Holy cow.
Jeez.
Holy cow, indeed. Holy cow, indeed. So, as you guys know, for joining our Patreon at a particular tier, the I Shall Become a Pal tier, you get a nickname and a shout out on this very show. So, without further ado, I want to say a special shout out to the best pals in the universe, Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro, the Hound of Justice Atomic Hound, Starcross Catherine Stars, and joining us in that tier is Relentless Ryan Murphy.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, Ryan Murphy is a man who always wanted to go fast. He always wanted to do things quicker than everybody else. He always loved running, not walking where he wanted to go, running where he wanted to go. His parents always used to tell him to slow down. You can take life a little bit easier than that. But he couldn't. He couldn't do that. That's not how he works. As he got older, took on track, kept running. What's he running from? What's he running to? Well, as a youth, he kind of went off the beaten path and he ran into some trouble. He ran into some people who aren't the best and he got influenced. And so he started to do things that he shouldn't have been doing. And so one day, as he was alongside his friends, committing mischief and stealing, he had the cops on his back. He really didn't want to get caught.
Damn.
And so he wished and thought and ran and pushed his body as hard as he could. And as soon as he knew it, he was in another state. He had run so far and run so fast that he wasn't even anywhere close to the people or the problems that had chased him his entire life. And he realized right then and there, he's not like everybody else. So he uses his powers of speed that are limited. He has learned his limitation. He can run as fast as he wants, but only for 30 minutes out of a given day.
Ooh, interesting.
Huh.
Some hour man shit.
And
Half
so,
hour shit.
yeah. Or maybe it's an hour. He just got this power. And so he's trying to figure out who he wants to be, what he wants his role to be in the grander scheme of the Palsverse, which is, popping new people up with powers every day. But because of his financial situation and because of his place in life, he hasn't quite been able to give up the crime. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. It's his story to tell. Thank you so much, Ryan Murphy. You're our first speedster.
Hey, let's go.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoy that.
Making his way around the world.
I also want to shout out the Night Stalker, Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Joel Justice, Jalen the Sanguine Sorcerer, Marvelous Mike and Mackenzie, Marley Manastorm, Slow Flow Dameron, Amin Almighty Perez. Joining the Palsverse, next up is Pete the Dreamweaver Collins.
Ooh.
I had a lot of fun with this one. People who have known Pete his whole life swear he was born with a pencil in his hands, ready to draw the world around him and the world inside his mind. Where most kids were stuck on video games and playing sports, Pete preferred to draw his favorite characters from Saturday morning cartoons. He drew himself among them, heroic and special and bright. Art was an escape, but it was also the thing that no one could take from him. It made him happy when things weren't so good in his life. He drew for others as well. And it always seemed to make them feel good when he gave them art he made for them. Years later, he makes and presents art for a friend of his going through a difficult time, struggling with depression. It's his friend, happy, with all the things he wants out of life surrounding him. The next day, his friend tells him about the dream he had that night. How he knew it was crazy, but he felt like he was living inside the artwork. Like the art became the dreamscape of his mind. That it came alive in his dreams. And he got to feel as happy in his dream as Pete had drawn him on the page. It changed his outlook on life, and he would build his life to resemble that piece of art. Because of that, Pete knew he could change the world too. Maybe not with his fists and laser beams like the heroes he watched on television or the ones that are running around the world these days, but with his artwork. There was power in it. With all the awful things happening in the world, Pete uses his power to help people overcome their fears, pain, and trauma through the worlds he creates inside his art, creating safe passage for people to recontextualize themselves inside their dreams.
Whoa, that's
And
rad.
so, thank you. If it wasn't clear, Pete's power is that when he presents people with his art that is made for them, when they dream at night, they will dream the things that he drew. And because he's a good guy and it's good art, it makes them feel good. It changes them on the inside. So he can influence people and change their world, their mental world, their spiritual world through his artwork. The Dream Weaver.
Ooh, what about the stuff that he draws for himself? What if he draws himself and in the dreamscape, it's actually like a negative version of him trying to haunt him? Well,
it's a story, right? It's a story.
Interesting.
As I said, when he would draw himself as a child, it helped him to deal with his life. So maybe he can influence himself.
Sure.
Welcome to the Pals verse,
Nice.
Pete Collins. Finally, Christian Uncaged Harriet. Hopefully I said your last name correctly. Christian was always a good boy. Good, but lacked self-control, lacked discipline. People always questioned why he couldn't just relax and take it easy and focus. They even tried to give him pills to calm him down and cage him. They gave him diagnoses. They said he had ADD and all these different things. For years, he tried to live by the rules of others and fit into the box that they made for him. But recent events in the world have changed things. He can't just let it go. He can't just calm down. He can't just take it easy. And now, one day, while he's outside at night, walking home, he witnesses an attack. It's people who are under the control of the Almighty, of Amin. They don't know what they're doing, but they're attacking. And Christian can't abide this. He's a good man. He wants to help, but how can he? Well, he does what any other good Samaritan would do, and he jumps into the fray. But on this night, something goes different. Because as he's being hit and attacked, he feels something crack in his mind. And his body starts to feel so weird and strange. It feels like he's bursting out of himself. It feels like he's being unleashed, uncaged. And his body starts to grow and change. His clothes start to rip and tear and shred off of him. His eyes start to bulge. And he transforms. And he rises up, standing fully formed as what appears to be a werewolf.
A werewolf.
And he rips and tears at these attackers who run away, horrified by what they have just witnessed. And now, Christian has become uncaged and unleashed. But to control this, to figure it out, to understand what has happened to him, he's going to need some help. Well, maybe he can meet a man who can help him uncover what's inside. All he has to do is dream.
Ooh, that was good. Damn, that was good.
Welcome to the Palsverse, Christian. Thank you all so much. We really, really appreciate you joining us. And if you want your own nickname and a shout out, if you want to join the Palsverse, you can do that by heading to patreon.com/thecomicspals. YouTube.com/thecomicspals if you want to watch this show live every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pools. Vote in the listener pick poll, which is up on youtube.com/community. /thecomicspals/community. Next week is the Pallies.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah. So we're gonna be telling you guys what books we think were the best this year. We're gonna be giving awards based on best writer, best artist, all that kind of stuff. You know the drill. Come with your thoughts too. Because whenever we have a tie, we're gonna need you all to break it, just like we did last year. So, come hang out for that.
Give us a hint,
yeah.
Sean. Give us a hint.
Sorry?
I'm leading in terms of points from last year's predictions, right?
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so fucking fun when we go over the predictions from last year and who's winning, who won. Oh man, you guys are gonna love it. Can't wait. Appreciate all the kind words for the Palsverse new additions. Amin says, can we get a sheet with all the Palsverse characters? This lore is getting too deep.
We're gonna need a fandom.com page or whatever they are.
The story has to be told one day.
There it is.
Right? So
get more of these Patreons. We might have to fund our own book.
Ooh. Feel like we know some artists, huh?
I have dreams too. That's definitely one of them. So we'll see if we can get to that down the road. Want to do real quick this episode in comics history, 375. Now I don't know, Kale, if you've been here for one of these.
Haven't.
Right. So what we're doing is every week, based on the episode number, I take a look at comic books that reach that same milestone. 375 is huge. Not a lot of podcasts make that number, and not a lot of comics do as well. So I look to the past to see what was happening in the books that made it this far. And this week, I went with Amazing Spider-Man number 375. This is written by David Michelini with art by Mark Bagley. This comic came out on January 12th, 1993, and Mark Bagley is on it.
93.
So that's how far back he goes.
Yo, I was born that year.
No, come on. Shut up.
93, dude? Yeah, dude.
Damn.
I know, right? I hate it. No, I'm just kidding. This issue features Venom.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Big man.
Yeah, so this is in that Venom era, but of course it's no longer McFarlane.
His villain era?
Sorry?
You said his villain era?
No, it's just the Venom era. It's just still in the Venom era. And this issue actually sheds a lot more light on the character. And I actually think this is probably an issue that delved a lot deeper into who Eddie is than anything that came before. So at this time, Peter's parents are still around, Richard and May.
Mary.
Mary, excuse me. And they get kidnapped by Venom. And he takes them to an amusement park in Brooklyn, the Thrill World theme park. And so he wants to keep them safe from Spider-Man. This is like leading into Lethal Protector. I mean, I guess technically it could be before that, but I don't think it is. It's leading into Lethal Protector. He wants to protect Richard and Mary from Spider-Man because he believes that Spider-Man is a threat to innocent people. Meanwhile, Spider-Man meets Anne, who is Eddie's ex-wife, and she tells him the origins of Eddie Brock. She tells him about how his father was a harsh man and how Eddie always kept that part of his life secret and separate from her. And how after Eddie was fired from the Daily Bugle for the Sin Eater fiasco, where he um didn't know who the real Sin Eater was, he got it wrong and he was fired. That was the death knell, and that drove Eddie off the deep end and ended their marriage. And that's ultimately what, of course, led to him becoming Venom. And so Spider-Man has a fight with Venom at Thrill World. Freaking the Wild Pack shows up. It's a crazy issue. A lot of fun. The Wild Pack shows up. They fight Spider-Man and Venom. And ultimately, Venom realizes that Spider-Man's a good dude. And so he says to him this quote, "All right, Spider-Man, let's make a deal. You don't come after us, we won't come after you. Fair enough?" And that's pretty much Venom's face turn.
What?
That's it.
Spider-Man goes, "Oh, it's that easy. All right, cool."
Pretty much.
Well, glad we can converse and find a solution to this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you kidnapped my parent. I mean,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, like some dude kidnaps your parents and you're just like, all right, we can let bygones be bygones.
Well, listen, as long as you don't come after me.
Yeah, definitely not Venom's last appearance. Although, to me, the juice was squeezed after he was beaten by Spider-Man with the sonic gun, and the help of the Fantastic Four.
There weren't much juice in Maximum Carnage.
No. Although Carnage does rule with a Z.
With a Z.
Carnage
Well, of course.
Z,
yeah. So that is Amazing Spider-Man 375. If you have a suggestion for what book we should look at for 376, let us know. Drop us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Let's get into Aquaman.
Ooh.
Oh, no, thank you.
Whoa, come on.
Too slimy. Too slimy.
Yeah, a little briny. A little stinky.
Let's dive into the depths of Aquaman. And you guys made jokes about how it's slimy and stinky. Well, it's rotten, according to Rotten Tomatoes. It debuted at the time of the article that I'm pulling from, which is from comicbook.com. It had 37%.
Yikes.
And now looking at it, it had 36% with 141 reviews from critics, 77% audience score, which is not too bad.
Oh, actually, yeah, wait. Okay.
It's not terrible.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, frankly.
Good.
The Flash is at a 63% on the tomato meter.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
It couldn't be twice as bad as The Flash.
Wait, what's the audience score on that one?
That
Flash?
Is that not the tomato meter?
Tomatoes?
No.
That's the critics.
The 83% from
Whoa.
the audience.
Wow. The audience was off that stuff.
Off that stuff.
Yeah, whoa.
Too much,
I wish I had been off whatever stuff they were off when I saw The Flash.
For real.
So much sand to time.
Holy shit. All right.
Stockholm syndrome.
Well, that's an interesting dichotomy in between those two. Does not bode well, but maybe people are grumpy about Aquaman. Maybe Kale's grumpy about Aquaman.
Maybe.
I haven't said a word about Aquaman.
By all accounts, it's not a good movie. I've read that it is a mess, that it feels stitched together. I saw that specific comment that it was stitched together from one of the reviewers. It just doesn't seem like it seems like the DCU is going out with a whimper, and that really sucks. Granted, there are a lot of people who barely liked any of the movies in this franchise. And, well, by franchise I mean the overall DC FU. Which it seems like they went out with a big FU to the audience at this point. But it started with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Which many, many people did not like. I count myself among the people that liked it. Then we got Batman versus Superman. I like that too. And so on and so forth. And it's so unfortunate because Aquaman 1 was one of the movies that people generally seem to enjoy. I liked it a lot. It was one of my favorite movies of that year, superhero movies at the least. And now we've gotten to such a state where I don't even care about the second one.
Yep.
I have no intentions of seeing it.
Really?
I don't like seeing movies in December. And I just don't.
Too cold.
It's cold.
Specific.
Yeah.
It's cold. I don't want to go out.
And this isn't necessarily like, warming you up to go. You're not fired up to go see this. So
Yeah, I had to go see Star Wars. The first one, The Force Awakens, and that came out in December, and I hated everything. But I went because it was Star Wars. I'm not going for Aquaman 2 with the exact same characters as Aquaman 1. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
The Lost Kingdom, though. They're finding the Lost Kingdom.
They lost their minds by putting this movie out.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'll be reporting back. I don't know if we're doing something necessarily, but I'm gonna try to watch it and at least say what's up.
You don't know if we're doing something for Aquaman? This film that came out on Thursday that we would have arranged to do a review on literally after this.
Well, I think we're gonna voice over something on Thursday for next week. I think.
What? We're gonna voice over something for Thursday? What are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about?
We talked about that last week.
Voiceover?
Yeah, we're just gonna like for the after the Pals polls. We talked about that last week.
Okay, but I don't know what voiceover has to do with it. We can talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Someone, Marco must have hired an animator, and we don't know about it. We're gonna do the voiceover for.
I think that the words that Marco speaks are AI generated. That's what I think.
No.
I'd rather talk about What If. To be honest, like I'm more interested in What If season 2.
Yeah. Oh, season 1 was fun.
Yeah.
I'm not jazzed about it. Like I'm not looking forward to it as much as honestly the TV stuff I'm not looking forward to as much anymore. Like I was on a high coming out of a few of the shows, Loki and WandaVision in particular, but first season What If was solid. Is it worth going back though? I don't know.
Aquaman 2 though, people are not going back for that. It is a disaster.
Big sense.
It's a disaster. And this is what James Gunn is inheriting. Now, obviously, he's going to be doing his own thing. Him and Peter Safran, they'll be doing their own thing. But the legacy and the stench of the DCFU will not simply dissipate in 2025. They're taking a year off or whatever. But people will remember the bombs. They will. Superman Legacy has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to overcome this shit.
Oh, and frankly, the failures of the MCU too. Like Superman's gonna have to fight for the whole of the superhero genre.
Not the first time.
Yeah.
Not the first time. I think the movie will be great. I think it's a shame that it has to be saddled to this garbage. But because I don't want to do a postmortem right now, all I really want to say is goodbye and good riddance. Because, man, it has been hard to be a DC film fan for the last few years.
Amin Paris in the chat says, "Would you rather Superman Legacy be successful but not great, or great and not successful?"
I
Frankly,
mean,
it should be great and successful.
that's not the question.
Sure.
I would rather, I would always rather watch a great movie because I think that greatness can be something that people, talk about. Word of mouth can help it. And maybe it doesn't help that movie be a success, but maybe it helps the future movies be a success. So I think I would choose for it to be great.
Yeah. Great, and not successful, because if it's great, it will transcend this success.
Right. Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Amin says, I love Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition. Me too. I think it makes that movie a lot more watchable, but it's also longer.
Much like the black and white version of the Justice League.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Hell yeah.
Slapped.
I love that movie. I watched it twice in 48 hours, I'm pretty sure.
God damn. That took up 8 of those 48 hours.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was hyped. Loved it. All right. No more Aquaman. This is probably the last time we'll ever talk about Aquaman on this show.
Big sads.
That's probably true. Goodbye, Jason Momoa.
Right. Because we ain't seeing Aquaman on the big screen again in some years. And there's not even an Aquaman comic book.
Yo, you're right. That's a travesty.
Huh. I wonder, it's probably not, right? But just hear me out. Is this the first time we've gotten a superhero movie from the big two based on a character who does not currently have a comic book on the stands? I can't think of one.
It could be something to that. Because, I mean, if you think about it, all the movies we've gotten are from, like, the marquee characters.
Right.
So, yeah, there could be something to that.
And normally, if it's not a marquee character or whatever, they just get something out.
Right.
They get a book out.
Yeah. Shovel book.
Yeah.
Even with Thanos, like, they'll just fart out a Thanos story and
just get something out.
Kang with Timeless that came out.
Yeah,
and Kang's not even the star of his own movie, and he had it. There was something with him. So I think that what DC thinks about Aquaman is very evident right now.
Damn, dude.
It may not even. They may just not care about, or maybe they can't afford to care about matching the comics up with the films.
I mean, it says Miss Marvel didn't have a book while the show was on. I think something started, and then it ultimately transformed into the death of and all that jazz.
Well, the shows, they just give the shows to whoever. I don't suspect Agatha will have a show while her book is coming out, right? But you very well may be right about that Miss Marvel may not have had one. But movie-wise, given how big this all is, you would think that they would want to have something on shelves for people to buy, and they didn't even care to do that. So,
especially for one of the Trinity, or I guess arguably.
What Trinity?
Yo, you don't
the Trinity of water characters?
The Trinity of Batman, Superman, and Aquatic Man.
You're fucking high, bro.
You could swap Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I think.
What are you saying this episode?
You don't think so?
No!
What?
Fucking Harley Quinn is, I mean, higher than Wonder Woman. Like,
dude. Okay.
Marco.
Wonder Woman, we'll put her aside. Okay. Harley Quinn, we'll put her aside. The Flash, Green Lantern.
What?
The other Green Lantern? Like, oh, hang on. One more Green Lantern?
Yeah, take your fucking pick. I'd say Hawkman.
Over
Right now, today.
Right.
Flash. There's 2 Flash books, I think. There's Jay Garrick Flash,
Yeah.
and there's Flash. Green Lantern has at least 2 books with 2 different Green Lanterns. Aquaman has 3. Oh, 3. 3. What's the third?
Alan Scott.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
3 Green Lanterns. Aquaman has 0.0 comic books on this. And you think he's a part of the big 3.
Cyborg.
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has the standard Wonder Woman book and an event happening. Amazon's Attack is happening right now based on Wonder Woman.
I think they have they're not fully representing all their characters. Aquaman's up there.
We can agree on that, but like, on what planet is Aquaman gonna be in the trinity of top DC characters? Like, what?
In my trinity, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are can be swappable.
Dude, you need your head examined if you think that. There's just no chance. That's crazy as hell. Aquaman sucked so bad that it took Jeff Johns to put his whole ass, Jeff Johns and I believe it was Ivan Reis, put their whole ass in that book to make Aquaman into somebody. And they parlayed that into a movie that made $1 billion. If it wasn't for Jeff Johns, there would never have been an Aquaman movie. And the only reason that worked is because of his magic. There's no chance in hell that Aquaman, a joke, is in the trinity of DC characters when Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn exist. You are crazy.
I can't even fathom on what basis you're trying to make that claim.
That they're equivalent?
Yeah. That they're both royalty? They're both mythological characters? I don't get it. Like, where do you fucking get off?
And I hope you're serious because you're totally derailing this. And I hope you're serious because this is asinine. And I would only dedicate this level of time to this shit just because you're serious and we need to address it.
And if you're not, keep it to your damn self.
At this point.
I mean it. I think he's up there, man. I think definitely above the Flash, definitely above the Green Lanterns. Like
Doom Patrol?
Definitely above Doom Patrol.
Come on.
Yeah.
After the 4-season Brendan Fraser vehicle?
I don't see a the Doom Patrol movie. 2.
They have how many hours of television is Doom Patrol?
Television, not movies.
Yeah, okay. So then how many movies has Harley Quinn been in?
There's only one with her in the title in it.
All right, we're gonna move on because this is just stupid. I can't. Dan Trudeau says Peter David did it first. Yeah, but Peter David didn't make Aquaman cool. He didn't get us to the point where we got an Aquaman movie. That's Jeff Johns. And every creator who came before always deserves credit. Peter David deserves credit, but let's call a spade a spade. You're gonna need Saul Goodman to get out of this one. Not even Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman went to jail. And he would have gone to jail if he had to defend Marco's ass. Because you can't defend this. You can't.
Yo, Dan on my side, dude. He says he's above Doom Patrol plus Aquaman is the only DC character to cross $1 billion.
And also doesn't have a comic book right now.
Well, can't win them all.
Right.
You can't, Marco.
Speaking of characters that can win them all, Batman has a new miniseries coming from Mark Russell and Mike Allred. You want to know how much more popular Batman is than Aquaman? There are about 57 Batman books on the stands right now.
They're making Batman books for stuff that's not even out yet, for stuff that might not even come out. That's how popular Batman is.
Batman's so popular, they let the fucking they let the actor who played the Riddler write a Riddler comic just because.
Not even the guy who played Batman. The guy who played the
Right.
Riddler, who wasn't even the main villain in the film.
Insane. Insane. And so we're getting a new mini, and I actually think this is this is right in Kale's veins. So let's see. Let's do it.
Oof.
Batman Dark Age miniseries from DC. Kale says,
Oof.
Mark Russell, though.
"No, you ruined it. Fuck."
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Bid is blown. I wanted to go a certain direction. Okay, anyway,
Sorry.
it's fine. Mark Russell and Mike Allred are going to be
Mike
working
Allred.
on this.
there you go.
You don't like Mark Russell?
I'm not crazy about Mark Russell. He did Flintstones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snagglepuss.
Space
Yeah.
Age, Superman.
See, I wasn't crazy about the Superman Space Age.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, to me, this looks pretty cool. I love Mike Allred. I think we can all agree to that.
He's hit or miss
Yep.
for me.
You don't like Mike Allred?
Sometimes it's a little wonky, a little stylistic. It's not always my cup of tea.
I'm surprised you do, Sean.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Sure. I wanted to show off the artwork from this book, the interiors. There's a page with, it's a simple page with Batman walking over the bodies of people that he's beaten the tar out of and jumping off a roof. And it's so simple and clean and cool. I really liked it. I like the costume as well. This is a
Yeah.
different iteration of Batman. This is like a world where I think the idea is that so here's what it is. In Batman Dark Age, meet Bruce Wayne, Gotham's favorite delinquent son. In an origin story like no other, witness the boy become a Dark Knight, shaped by a city in turmoil as it marches towards its prophesized doom. Set against the backdrop of actual historical events, Gotham comes alive, filled with the iconic characters who've loved and hated Batman over the years like you've never seen them before. And it spins out of Superman Space Age.
Oh. Interesting.
I don't know. I'm into that.
I like Mark Russell, and I trust a lot of his work. So this is definitely going to be something that I'm interested in picking up. The Allred art here looks good. There are moments where I think for me, I don't know how to phrase it. He looks bendy. Things look very flexible. And here it's a bit more rigid, and I like that. There's a bit more structure to the form, so I can appreciate that aspect of the art.
Yeah, Mike Allred. I'm trying to remember, the aforementioned Space Age, but what else? Because I know I've liked...
Is it X-Force? No, Ecstatics.
Ecstatics. That's the name.
And Madman.
Silver Surfer. I think I remember seeing him
Yes.
do some
Dan
yes.
Slotts.
Yeah.
Dan Slotts, Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
He did some cool stuff in that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is cool. Will I like follow it all the way? It's really going to depend on what I think of that first issue.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Which inevitably we'll be reviewing here. Why is the chat saying Madman? Who's a madman?
Oh no,
That's Mike Allred's creation is Madman.
Oh, okay.
He's a character called Frank N. Stein.
Ooh.
He gets brought back to life and through various shenanigans starts to fight crime. It's sort of a humory superhero book.
It's parody, right?
Well, like in a cool way. Yeah, it's a bit of parody, but it's cool. I have a Madman shirt actually.
Yeah, the design's nice.
Yeah.
But you're not that hot on Mike Allred?
No, I like Michael.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was surprised you were.
Yeah, it's good. I never seen Mad Men though. I'll have to check that out.
It's his older stuff.
Now, we just talked about who else could be in the Trinity, and Marco floated Aquaman, which was the wrong opinion. Here is a character that I guarantee, well, I shouldn't say I guarantee. I'm pretty confident you've never even heard of before, who belongs on the Trinity sooner than Aquaman does. I'm talking about Primer. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Well, what if I told you
You're about to get one.
Primer outsells Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, and Watchmen.
What?
Whoa.
Yep. So Primer is an original graphic novel that DC put out in 2020 that has sold out 6 times.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
It's got the 7th printing out right now. It's the best-selling comic for kids and young adults in the past 2 years from DC. It outsells every single DC comic on Amazon, except for Batman Year One.
Wow.
And that's both a testament to Primer, but also Batman Year One.
Yeah. Batman Year One is something else, and that'll never stop selling. But it's a kid's book. It's for 9, it's targeted at ages 9 to 12.
Yeah.
And it's outselling all of that. When I read this, I was very excited. Because this is the kind of thing that we've talked about.
Yep.
It's exactly what we've talked about. You want to tap in to the younger audience, you meet them where they live at. And they're doing it with a new character that we have never seen in a DC book.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive.
Gotta hit them where they live, man.
It's impressive, and it's good that that's the space that this book exists in. That to me reads as there's still entryways into DC via these kinds of books. Like it's reaching a mass audience, and it's not your typical fare, and that's only for me a boon in the industry.
Well, so DC is actually going to be re-releasing, serializing the Primer graphic novel in singular issues here in 2024. They're going to do that in March. And then they're going to put out the second Primer book in the summer. So that's huge. And on Amazon right now, I see it for $7.48.
You serious?
I have $8. Yeah.
How many pages?
Let's see. I don't know. I don't see that answer.
Got 159.
Wow. That's really good. That's good ass value for that book.
It says the reading age is for 8 to 12-year-olds. That's great.
That's literally the price of maybe
Gods.
2 Batman books or Gods. Oh yeah. Jeez.
That's absurd.
Yeah. Columbo says, funnily enough, her book is technically in DC continuity because she's shown up in Titans Academy.
Yeah, as far as I know, this is a character who is in continuity, that is a part of the wider DC world, and this is a big hit. This is like what I feel Marvel should have been doing with Miles. And I'm not saying like I know all the sales data, but the fact that DC has this and we know this, and Miles, we don't necessarily know how well the books are doing or not doing or whatever, it's not good.
Well, most of these YA and young teen books tend to do really, really well.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. This was written by Jennifer Morrow, um, with Gretel Lusky and Thomas Krajewski. That's the creative team. No one I've ever heard of.
No. Yeah. So there's that same kind of like Raina Telgemeier sort of fan thing.
And I love it. I love it. I'm gonna buy this. I want to read it. I want to read it. I think as older fans of comics, we can be jaded at times, or we could be kind of insulated. And I think even just for the nature of this show, like I want to know what the kids are reading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If there are comics that kids are tapped into, I'm not necessarily reading Dog, but like this is a DC comic. I want to see it.
And there's a lot of good creators with these books, like um, Isaac Goodhart, friend of the show, was doing one about Catwoman.
Catwoman, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know was it Cami Garcia, and I'm forgetting the artist's name. Like that blew up as well.
Gabriel Piccolo.
Gabriel Piccolo. Yep. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
there's such an audience for these things that it's awesome to see that this continues that trend. It means that it's the right direction, or it's a direction that has further potential.
Yeah.
I'm into this. I wonder what would happen like if we did a book club for this.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Be interesting. That could be interesting. Maybe maybe to do something to take the explicit tag off just once.
Yeah. We'll have to keep that episode PG, right? We don't want to don't want to offend the kiddies, but yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
That would be kind of cool. That might be interesting.
I'll pick it. If the listeners want it, if you guys will vote for it, it's not going to be the next book club because that we're locked in our picks. But if you guys are down, I will nominate it. I'll choose it.
Damn.
Let's let's give the people a sneak peek here. Let me read the summary on this Pop First article.
Hit it.
Primer stars a new DC hero with a unique power set, body paint. Ashley Rayburn uses her specially enhanced body paints to help her become a superhero, while inadvertently raising the ire of the U.S. government over her efforts. Like a Splatoon story come to life inside the DCU, Primer and her 33 paint color-based superpowers turn to be a work of art for readers, leading to DC quietly ushering her into its main continuity soon after.
Yeah, great. She should be on the Trinity.
Yep.
Batman, Superman, Primer, Aquaman somewhere in the bottom tier.
Yo, chill.
Sorry.
Aquaman starts with A. Got to be in the A tier.
That's why we don't freaking do those rankings anymore. Oh gosh. All right. Exiting the DC territory and heading into Marvel, Spider-Gwen is making a big move. Right on into 616 with a new ongoing series by Stephanie Phillips.
Oh.
With art by Chris Campana. Gwen Stacy is a character that most people know for being dead. She's been dead for my entire lifetime and longer. She's been dead for a very, very long time. And so, of course, we got Spider-Gwen within the last, 15 years. And she's been great. Everybody loves her. She's one of the stars of the Spider-Verse movies and everything like that. People love Spider-Gwen. So much to the point that Marvel has made the decision. I'm sorry, Ghost Spider is her superhero name, right?
Terrible.
So yeah. So much so that Marvel is officially putting her in 616. And the story is going to see her, trying to figure out why she's trapped in 616. The fact that the version of her that is from 616 is dead, and that she apparently can't go home.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, right. I really don't like this.
I don't either. And I knew as soon as she took off and gained popularity, the same thing that happened with Miles. This was gonna happen.
Wait,
This was always gonna happen.
so she's not already in 616?
No.
All of her stories take place outside of that? Oh.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the only time you see her is in the either in her own title or on the edge of the Spider-Verse stuff or the Spider-Verse stuff.
Right. The multiversal collabs. She's
Right.
from Earth 65 or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So my issue is that Gwen Stacy is gone. You know, she's been dead, and I think her absence, the fact that she's not alive, I think that's still a very significant thing. And so to take this character who already has her own supporting cast, she has a built-in, built up world, to take that and maybe they'll figure out a way to get her supporting characters into 6162. That's very weird. They did it with Miles and it was wonky, but they made it clean because of Secret Wars. There's no equivalent event coming up to justify this. And so they're just going to do it. And I think leaving Gwen Stacy off the table and not even bringing a variant of hers into 616 is appropriate. I think this is too bizarre. I don't really want to see Peter Parker and her interact. That's not interesting to me because it's not Gwen. And isn't she a kid? Isn't she young?
And it's been dealt with.
Right.
In the first Spider-Verse.
Right.
They have their weird feelings about it. They say, "Oh, well, I'm not her." And he says, "Oh, yeah, I'm not yours." Cool, let's shake hands and go kick some ass.
Right.
And that's it.
I'm sick to death of the Spider-Verse altogether, quite frankly.
I gotta tell you, even the movies are on thin ice for me.
It's enough. Honestly, it's enough. Like, we're not going over it, but they announced like all these different Spider books that are coming out in 2024. And it's like, whoa, man. Whoa. I thought that Spider-Verse was over in the comics. Apparently it's not. We're getting a book that's Miles and Spider-Man team up. Miles and Peter team up. A Web of Spider-Man book. Obviously continuing Adventures of Amazing. And this. It's a lot. I'm out. I don't want this. I'm not going to read this. Like, first issue, sure, we'll review it on Palsiples. And I love Stephanie Phillips. It's not the creative team's fault. But yeah. I don't get why Marvel can't just leave Well Enough alone. The character's great. She's selling great. Let her be in her own space. And they have their cake and eat it too because they team them up every fucking year.
They're talking about in the chat. People are saying that she was going to school in 616. Anyway. So what's the point?
That's insane. That's insane.
I mean, is the expectation here that I will say it's Stephanie Phillips, and I think she's a very capable writer. So I think she's going to make the book fun, continuity aside.
Sure.
But yeah.
But is that enough?
To make the book fun? I think so. For me, what is the continuity necessarily? It matters less for me and like where she fits in. I mean, if you throw them all into 616, fine. I think you can deal with the interaction between her and Peter pretty easily. And the same way you guys just said, they're different people. They're different people respective in their each of their universes, so they just proceed as they would be separate people. And maybe he just deals with, oh, but she looks like her, and that sometimes freaks me out or something, and he gets over it.
And then what about her supporting cast?
Hey, man, Stephanie Phillips might have an answer. I don't know.
But it's just, that's it. Like, do we care enough about this character in our universe to answer those questions? Her dad is dead in our universe. or I don't think she has other family. Aunt May doesn't know who she is. Uncle Ben is gone, who's also a supporting member in this cast. Mary Jane is like her arch rival, as I recall, doesn't know who she is and is 20 years older than she is. Like, she's gonna have to deal with all that, but is that interesting?
It's bizarre. It is bizarre, and I struggle to believe that like the sales for the Spider-Gwen books were not high because she's not a part of the MCU. I feel like the people that really care about this character don't care about that, because if you did, how could you even read it? Like I can't invest because I think of Gwen Stacy as one specific person. One specific way. I wouldn't buy a book if it was like The Return of Uncle Ben, and it's Uncle Ben as a superhero in another universe where he never died and he became Spider-Man or something goofy like that. I'm not interested in that. And so this is not for me. But for the people who it is for, does it matter what universe she's in? I feel like it's leaving well enough alone. It was good the way it was. Why ruin it? Stephanie Phillips is very creative and talented. I'm sure she can handle the job of making the book good, but is it necessary? That's what I always come back to in this age of comics. And for me, I can't see why. I can't see what she's going to be able to do here that she just couldn't do in her own universe.
I think that point on like the need for the book, especially based on just Marvel prices recently, is just another important factor. Like, is this another book that I'm gonna have to pick up? And maybe there are people who are Spider fans and Ghost Spider fans, and this is the book that they've wanted, but it's also an added expenditure at this point and more in their stack.
God knows I don't need more in my fucking stack. Oh my goodness. Let's catch up on some comments real quick. Amin says, "Call me crazy, Sean, but if DC was releasing a Ben 10 book, they would be making bank." Yeah, I'm sure they would. I believe
Love
that.
Ben 10.
I've never even seen that shit.
Oh, it's dope.
Yeah.
So much fun.
We talked about how she went to school in 616, which is insane, but okay. This reminds me of Flashpoint, Batman being on the Prime Earth. It doesn't work. It's weird, and it dilutes the original tragedy. I agree with that.
And I think it's interesting enough that she has her own version, with Peter or whatever, but having them both together negates all of it. So it just ruins both tragedies for two characters.
Yeah. And it's arguably even more egregious in the case of Flashpoint Batman, because the entire reason he becomes that way is because his son is gone. His son is dead. So when he goes to Prime DC Earth and sees his son is Batman, what's his motivation anymore to do anything of that nature? It's very weird, and it's just one of those times where you can see the wheels turning on the editorial end, on the business end, not the creative end. Mm-hmm. Stephanie Phillips mentions in this article she was approached to do this.
Yeah.
So
it's that costume. I'm telling you, it's day one of that since that costume debuted.
You just knew.
Because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
It really is. It's way more iconic than that character deserves.
It is a good costume. I'm not going to argue with that.
Rad.
I hope for the best. I really do.
Yeah.
I hope it's great. Truly. I hope it's a #1 bestseller. It won't be, but man, I want it to be. I think that would be rad.
Yeah, she's a cool enough character, and what I like is that so many people enjoy the character. Yeah. So ultimately, I hope that continues. I don't want them to disrupt that.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. Those people are going to be eating.
Well, speaking of disruptions, Marvel is disrupting the Krakoan era, ending the Krakoan era. What's that?
I gotta steal someone's joke. Someone earlier said it was Crookover.
And indeed it is, and we know when now. Because Marvel put out a tweet on the 20th, so 3 days ago, saying it was a very simple tweet. It says, from the ashes, the X-Men titles are reborn. Following the end of the Krakoan era, new hashtag Marvel Comics X-Men ongoing titles launch in July 2024. And then it's got an image that says X-Men from the ashes, but the X-Men is in the old style. This reminds me of the 90s cartoon. This takes me back to that. The very like bold, blocky 3D X-Men title, and then from the ashes in that same angular styling that you're used to. No more information revealed. Solicits are up to March. I believe we just got March's solicits. So April, May, June, July. So in 4 months from now, they won't be able to conceal any longer what we're going to be getting. That is our timeline. Within the next 4 months, we will know the creative teams, the characters, all that.
It's interesting because we're if the assumption here is, I guess, a few things. We have the Jean Grey book, and that's been a focus in some of the Fall of X things, and so I can assume Phoenix might be somehow related to this, but also the fact that we're in the process of Fall of X, and like they're ultimately going to rebuild something. I worry that this is going to go back to the mansion, and I'm pretty sure there are people excited for that, but that feels regressive for me. And if this is the aesthetic of this announcement, that feels like, hey, they are gonna come back in a more familiar way, maybe a little more meat and potatoes to what you're used to than the Krakoan stuff that we've done, because that's sort of run its course and now is kind of off the wall.
Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what Marvel is saying.
I don't want.
I think that's
tough shit. Like,
damn.
You've got. I mean, think about it. You've got Tom Brevoort, coming back on, who's the champion of ye old Marvel comics. Like, what else? What else can they do? Like, this is going to be a full on reboot, like it or not. Like,
what I'm struggling with is more the mechanics of the how, because a lot of things were set up. So we know they can't resurrect anymore, allegedly. Okay.
But Magneto's coming back.
Right. It's not a guarantee that they can never resurrect again. Like there are the five are still alive. They could come up with a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Professor Xavier, he walks around, like he's good. So are they going to deal with that? Like, are they going to revert him back to the wheelchair?
Definitely.
Magneto is almost assuredly coming back as a villain.
Yeah.
I called that months ago. That's what it appears like they're going to do. Apocalypse is still with the squiggly lines. Are they getting rid of that? Is he just going to go back to being Apocalypse? What would compel him to want to do that?
Yeah.
As it stands with the character, why would he change that?
He had such a compelling moment with that, and how he viewed the future. And I liked the complexity of Magneto on Xavier's side. I thought that was interesting and different, and frankly made a lot of sense for the era that they had. Obviously, if we're going back to it, again, I don't want to see Magneto regress. He had growth. He changed. He had new goals that I thought were really compelling. And now if it's back to, well, we're gonna make the humans uh, rule over them and pay for what they've done to mutants, it's not interesting to me.
Shit, actually, you just made that interesting to me.
Damn.
Because after all the horrible things that Orcus has done, I could see Magneto resurrected without the memory of Krakoa, but observing the aftermath and being like, "Yo, these humans got to go."
That might be interesting.
And then Apocalypse, angry that the mutants have abandoned Krakoa.
Ooh.
There you go. Apocalypse is back.
But why is he not A anymore?
Maybe he still is.
The dream is dead.
The dream is dead.
That's it. Dream is dead. Was it on the 13th life?
Whatever it was, yeah. It feels like so long ago. I feel like I'm in my 13th life.
Yeah.
The other thing we know is that there is a Free Comic Book Day issue coming that somehow involves the X-Men. I believe the issue follows Jubilee. I'll look that up, but what we know is that Gail Simone was listed as the writer for that story. Now, at the time, I contended that as it follows the trend of these Free Comic Book Day issues that typically tease the future, the creative team for those tends to be the creative team for whatever they were teasing. So why would Gail Simone be writing this X-Men story if she's not going to be writing the X-Men going forward? Maybe it's not X-Men proper, but I believe that Gail Simone will be involved in the X-Men relaunch.
Makes sense. I wouldn't be mad to see her stories, honestly. I think she's an incredibly capable writer. And if she's versed, as I presume her to be versed in a lot of things comics, then it's a really solid bet to lead with her.
Yeah, see, here it is. It's a Jubilee story. The direct quote is, "And then get a glimpse of the future of mutant kind as Jubilee learns that you cannot go home again."
Oh, Jubilee?
Yeah. Makes sense. She's a typical like point of view character for the mutants. I don't know. But I think we will know soon. I think by the time this Free Comic Book Day issue releases, we will know who, what, where, and why. I believe that.
Potential new chatter in level 87 code. I could still see a school in Westchester being in the X-Men's future as a location, but the characters regressing would be so lame. Yeah, man, I agree. And I don't care for the school anymore. We had a whole society. Now it's back to teaching classes, homeroom, fucking actually danger room school. So I won't ever be mad at that.
It's even weird for me. Like the X-Men are so important to me. I grew up watching the show and everything like that. I love that aesthetic and that the school and everything else. I'm way into it, but we've just come so far.
Right.
And by the way, it's not like what was happening right before Krakoa was that. It wasn't that. Right before Krakoa, it was the Matthew Rosenberg era where the mutants were dying, they were being killed off and everything else. And before that, things were still rough. So we haven't had that era that you're referring to about like the school and everything else in quite some time. It hasn't been simple times for the X-Men in forever.
Ever.
So in a way, I'm looking forward to seeing that again, but it feels like we've come so far from it that it's hard to imagine them going back. But that's comics. Things will always rubber band. And I'm not going to complain about the nature of comics because otherwise, what am I here for? So it is what it is. We'll see how things progress, but we know when. We now know when. July 2024.
Hey man, give it to us. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out when it's coming out issue to issue. I'm confident in these creators' works. We don't know an artist, right, or associated art team
for the free comic book day, or for what?
Well, for the free comic book day, because I'm assuming that might carry over.
Yeah. So in the free comic book day issue, Gail Simone is joined by David Marquez.
Okay.
David Marquez is a shoo-in for drawing the X-Men. You want a top tier name? David Marquez is one of those guys.
Yeah.
So that further bolsters my belief that what we're looking at is the one-to-one creative team. But we'll see.
Could be good.
Kale, you're muted.
I just want to point out that Marco, the well-known weeb and manga fan, doesn't want to go back to the school where things happen.
Well, shit, man. Things were happening on Krakoa.
Quite a bit, frankly.
But that's not what I'm arguing. Marco, the well-known manga fan, doesn't want to go back to the school.
Oh God,
if you know what I mean.
You're insinuating things that I don't even want to get into.
I don't think I'm not insinuating what you're insinuating.
I'm
me insinuating. You're the one talking.
I'm saying most gross manga tropey things, the things you think about manga and anime, happen in schools.
Those are the best slice of life stories.
See? That's what I'm saying.
They're cute.
And yet.
Amin says, how about an all-powerful entity stole 5 years from them and the real X-Men are trapped in a source of energy? Man, please don't.
That's probably the Phoenix. Probably exactly where they're heading.
Just because like negating everything that we have seen that'd be really terrible. That'd be a slap in the face. Like, these comics cost real money. You know, and if you're going to tell me that none of that actually happened at all, like it was a figment, nah.
Marvel's charging you $10 for a 30-page comic. You think they give a shit?
Yo, it's gonna be Professor X waking up. What a wonderful dream I had.
Yeah. He's gonna be sick. The opening is gonna be him sitting in the on the park bench going, I feel like something was supposed to happen today. I was supposed to meet somebody here.
I mean, technically, they still have Moira in their back pocket because Sinister had Moira clones that were ready to be
to reset stuff. Yeah.
Well, she's still she's working with Orcus, isn't she?
Yeah. Although that would reset the entire universe, so I don't know how they I don't know how they. It's so convoluted at this point that like I just don't know.
I mean, just pitched you DC Rebirth.
Yo.
You got me. Yep, you're right. And yet, I like DC Rebirth. But DC Rebirth was like a whole line-wide thing, and it had these like sinister implications. I don't know. I just want good X-Men books. No, please, no more Sinister. Hopefully, Sinister's off the table.
Thank God.
There are two things I need. I'm sorry. There are two things I need off the table for the X-Men going forward: Sinister and Cy Spurrier. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're right.
I need a break.
You're right. Cy needs to focus on the Flash. Real good books. Real good comics. Absolutely.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. If that's what it means, I'll sacrifice the Flash. I would be okay with a Sinister. Make him a real villain again.
not
Uh,
a
A McElroy joke.
yeah.
Make Sinister again.
Yeah.
Maybe they're being expelled to Mars. They should just expel me to Mars. Tired of Mars. And what are they going to do with that? Mars isn't even Mars anymore.
Yep.
They should just move to Mars.
Put the school on Mars. That would be interesting.
That'd be cool. From the ashes, maybe it's a reference to the red planet. Like, I wouldn't be mad at that. And at the very least, we're still not in Westchester.
The problem is that the X-Men really do have to be on Earth. I think once you take them away from Earth, then the idea of them as superheroes who protect humans despite the fact that they hate them is gone.
Yep.
So they have to be on Earth. I think having the Araco mutants be on Mars was a good idea. And are they going to stay there? Is Mars forever terraformed? That's a big deal. They're going to have to address a lot as they dismantle what Jonathan Hickman, excuse me.
Well.
And yet, all right, we've got one more thing left to do. Because you guys did clear our likes goal, as you do every week. You've never failed us.
Nice.
We have a draft. And as we wind out the year, I wanted to do something a little fun, obviously with the draft, and do something maybe a little bit different. So we're going to do the color draft today. What does that mean? That's very obscure. The way this is going to work is that we are only allowed to draft characters based on the same color.
Oh.
Yes. We're only allowed to draft characters based on the same color. So once you get a color, you are locked in on that color, and you have to think of characters whose primary color is whatever color you got.
If we do Green Lanterns, do we only get one Green Lantern?
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise,
no, it's wiped out. You've nailed it.
So go ahead.
Can we add an extra layer of difficulty to this?
Fire it away.
We have to be assigned the color. We can't just come up with the color.
Oh, you got that right. Because not only, and this part here actually came from Tyler, so I'll give him his props, but not only are we rolling for initiative, we're also rolling for your color.
Hell yeah. Damn. Okay, interesting.
So I have 6. I have red, blue, green, yellow, purple, and black. Should we expand?
Red, green, blue, yellow, black?
I think that's good for the first one.
Okay. Yeah. For our first time doing this, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to roll. I got my dice. I'm going to roll now first for Marco. All right. So here we go.
Come on, baby.
That is a 6. I will roll now for Kale. That is a 5.
Ooh.
For myself, that is a 6. Low rolls today. So I'll roll now for Marco. That is a 7. And for myself,
9.
that is a 4.
Ooh.
So it'll be Marco, myself, and Kale.
Okay.
And now I will roll for the color.
Right, okay.
So 1 to 6, whatever it lands on is the color that Marco and only Marco drafts for.
Can you tell us what the numbers are real quick?
Yes, I can. All right. So 1 is red, 2 is blue, 3 is green, 4 is yellow, 5 is purple, and 6 is black.
Purple?
Yeah. Purple's easy.
You could do purple.
Yeah.
Here we go. That is a 4. So you got yellow.
Okay.
Oh, I'm jealous.
All right. Now for me.
Okay.
Oh, it came up 4 again. I'm gonna re-roll it.
Okay.
Yeah.
6.
Oh, come on.
So I got black.
Easy.
It's gonna be so easy.
And now for Kale. I was hoping for blue personally. Now for Kale. Another 4. What is with me and 4s today? Another 4.
He's a little
A 1.
red.
So Kale got
Okay.
red. All right. So Marco is yellow. I'm black. We know that. And Kale is red.
Is this
How many?
big 2?
We'll do 5. Yeah, big 2.
5, big 2. Okay. Okay. Then you know what? I'll start. I have one. Wasp.
You got it. Batman.
Well, your color is black, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Spider-Man. Isn't my number 1.
Yes. And number 2?
Deadman.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
sure. Venom.
I got Sinestro and Shocker.
Wow.
For yellow. Wow. Good one.
Wow. All right. I didn't think we would get to the draft where Shocker appeared.
There it is.
Yeah, here we are. I will go with Black Panther.
My third one will be Robin.
Yeah.
And I'll make my fourth. I'm gonna make my fourth Wally West. Specifically the Rebirth Wally West.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For my fourth, man, I could just name any character with black in the front and I'm golden, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Null.
Nice.
The King in Black.
I'm gonna do Reverse Flash.
Hey.
And Gold.
Oh, from the Metal Man.
Yeah.
Ooh, good pull.
I was gonna do someone else, but I was like, actually, maybe not.
My favorite thing is watching Kale look like frantically look around
Yeah.
and figure out like
Red,
what.
Red, who's red? Red.
Who's that cat?
What cat? Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's my turn. Shit.
Yeah.
This is my last pick. Sorry.
No, wait,
I will.
Sean, is it yours? Oh no, you just said.
I just chose Null.
Right.
No. I will do. Listen, I'm gonna do Speedy. I've got Wally. I've got Dick. I'm gonna do Speedy.
All right. Speedy it is.
Roy Harper.
And I will choose Black Bolt. That was fast. We really tore through that one.
So yeah, actually, I mean, frankly, I could probably do 2 more.
You guys want to do 2 more?
I have a draft of teenagers and a dead guy. 2 more?
Yeah, can you do that?
I mean, yeah, there are enough red characters. Surely I could do that.
Yeah.
All right, so then that would make Marco next.
Yeah. In that case,
2.
Kang Gorilla.
Okay.
And then Bumblebee.
From what?
Teen Titans.
Oh. All right. I will choose. I could just like easily say like Black Adam. I just want to I want to challenge myself a little bit. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. Screw it, Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna do it too, and I'm gonna say Captain Marvel Shazam.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's funny.
And for my next one, I'm keeping with my theme, but I'm gonna do Wonder Girl. Donna Troy. I think that puts me at a full card of the entire Teen Titans.
Wait, isn't Donna Troy in all black?
Not as Wonder Girl.
Oh, okay.
Original Donna Troy is her original costume is red.
Sick. And now my last one. I was about to say, for all these black named characters, I have no black people on my team, but I do have Black Panther. So at least I'm filling that quota. Can I just draft Storm?
In that
She's a
leather
black
jacket,
costume,
maybe.
doesn't she?
Yeah,
She does
that
have
leather.
a black costume.
I'll count it.
Yeah,
I'll count it.
I'm drafting Storm.
with the fucking mohawk.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, Columbo
bless
in
you.
the chat got a. Oh, that's my cat. Oh, you heard that?
Sounded like a people sneeze. I don't know if I believe that was your cat.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's 7.
Yeah. All right. So, here we go. Marco drafted for yellow, Wasp, Sinestro, Shocker, Reverse Flash, Gold, Kong, Gorilla, and Bumblebee. I got for black, Batman, Venom, Black Panther, Null, Black Bolt, Black Adam, and Storm. And Kale for red drafted Spider-Man, Deadman, Robin, Wally West Flash, Speedy, Shazam, and Wonder Girl Donna Troy. That was fun.
That's good.
Good one.
And we had
That's a good one.
some good, pretty quick reactions on those.
Because it's endless.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
it's just endless. I was hoping that someone would get purple because I think purple's a lot of fun.
It'd be more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a lot. And you'd have to draft, like, a lot of villains, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, purple would have been fun. What would be a hard color to draft for? Like, if we did this again, but we eliminated the colors we used, what would we go to? Orange?
Orange. Jeez.
White.
It's tough
White.
because you can't really, well, especially when you think of superheroes, like there's not a lot of like color mixing to make like a primary color costume. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get like a teal,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
a person in a teal suit.
Brown
Brown
would
could be hard,
interesting.
yeah.
Brown.
Wolverine, you could go to him in his brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cost the tan, yeah.
Brown.
Go to Wolverine, but
Copper.
Bagman, the amazing Bagman.
Oh, sure.
whoa, that is not his primary color.
What? He's called the amazing Bagman, first of all. So you're not looking at the
Sure.
Fantastic Four suit.
Oh my god.
You're looking at the
bag.
bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That
Wow.
that made sense, frankly.
All right. No, it didn't. Let's see if we can collectively do brown, just for the fuck of it.
Copper.
From the Metal Men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't he one?
Wolverine, the aforementioned Wolverine.
Good one.
Yeah.
Brown. Oof.
Brown. Oh my God. From Spider-Man villain, Craven? No.
More of a yellow leopard printy
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah. Leopard print. Yeah.
The wood guy from Swamp Thing.
Woodrow?
Woodrue. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That counts.
Shit, that's a good one.
Was that
Wow.
3?
Yeah, I think we're at 3. I'm struggling. Brown. Gambit?
Oh,
Brown-
yeah.
Coat,
Trench
yeah.
coat. Yeah.
Constantine.
I was about
Then
to say by then. Yeah. By extension.
Although I guess probably most people think of Gambit with purple. So maybe he wouldn't count. But for the sake of this, just because of how hard this shit is,
tough. Yeah.
Gambit.
The Tyler in the chat says Brood Queen.
Oh sure.
Oh, I didn't know Tyler was around.
I just showed up.
Oh.
Thanks.
Night Owl.
Night
Not
Owl.
brown.
Yeah.
Night
no?
Owl. Yeah.
No,
No
he's not
kill?
brown. No.
No.
Got a red chest plate and sort of black and green
Wait, which one? I'm thinking about Night Owl from Watchmen.
Oh, from Watchmen.
Watchmen,
I'm thinking of Doctor Midnight.
Mm.
Idiot.
Idiot.
Clayface.
Oh,
yeah,
right
yes,
there. It was
that's a
right
good
there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Yeah, yep.
Boom.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, we actually were able to accomplish that. And now we cannot do Brown whenever we do the color draft again, because whoever
Shit.
gets Brown is going to know all this shit.
The Columbo's purple team is cool.
Yeah, we've got Blink, Raven, Huntress, Psylocke, and Galactus.
Yeah, a special shout out to the Phantom. That's good.
Damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. Love it. Do you want to close the poll? How long has it been going?
It's been on for like a minute or two.
All right, so don't close the poll quite yet. I want to say, first of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. If you celebrate, if you don't celebrate, at least you have off. Hopefully you have some time off from work or school or whatever it is that you do, and you are able to enjoy that thoroughly with some comics. Thank you for spending some amount of your holiday weekend with us. If you've been engaged with us here live or watching us after, we appreciate you so much. Next week, we are presenting you with our 2023 Pally Awards. We're answering and finding out the prediction results from last year, and we'll be doing some predictions for 2024. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to have a special start time. We're going to start the show at 12. So come hang out with us in the afternoon next week for our final. Wait, it's not our final, is it? Yes. Our final episode of the year. You don't want to miss it. I am giving you a Pals guarantee. This episode is going to be capital F fun. We're going to have a blast. And we need you. We need you because the audience determines the winner of any awards in a tiebreaker situation.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to need you. So show up next week. Bring your best. Wear your Saturday best, I guess, for the last episode of the year. We want to spend the end of year with you all. Hulumbo says, "Oh my God, my first Pallies." Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast, Hulumbo.
Yeah.
Yes, good. Absolutely. Patreon.com/thecomics-pals. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that I had to announce joining the Palsverse today. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And everybody who's been a part of it. This has been an incredible year. So much of that is due to all of you. Thank you. Our channel members, want to shout them out as well. Thank you so much for all your support. We have been putting out videos steadily every single week. Every week for our channel members. These evergreen videos that we've been doing that, we really enjoy. We hope you enjoy them too. Channel members get some perks from us. Hopefully you're enjoying them. Thank you. Vote in the listener pick poll.
Please.
So that,
Please.
Oh my God, to determine what we'll be reviewing next week on Pals Pulls, the last Pals Pulls of the year as well. Prevent the Flash from winning.
Oh, whoa,
Please.
whoa,
Please.
biased opinion.
We can't do this.
Unfair. Trying to sway the vote.
If you can campaign for Flash, I can campaign against the Flash. I don't see how someone could vote against that hot ass cover for the Gang War Kung Fu book with Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. Or even Alan Scott Green Lantern, which frankly has been one of the better minis of the year.
Yep.
Because the minions are
But
active,
Dracula?
man.
Like, come on.
Yeah, Dracula is just getting cooked, and I don't know why.
An absolute stacked week, and the fucking Flash is winning. Come on.
Give it to me. Sue Chaos.
Oh, what a shame.
I'm gonna close the poll. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got. What's this?
I don't like this one bit.
Well, Marco wins the poll with 50% of the vote. I came in second with 33% of the vote. And Kale, rounding out the bottom, with 16% of the vote. You know what? I don't see it. I think you guys got it wrong. I'm sorry.
I had the entire Teen Titans. You got to give me points for being clever at least.
And Spider-Man, who could have been a member of the frickin' Teen Titans.
Come on.
I love having this power.
I think Marco's still cheating. I think he's still
I
probably
didn't.
voted for himself
I didn't.
or something, right?
I didn't. I have it open just so we can. 50%. That wasn't me. 6 votes. I can't do that. Doesn't math.
It maths if you voted for yourself, which took me out of the running.
Huh?
It maths for that.
Oh my God, Sean, have you seen the have you seen the YouTube?
I didn't even want to say anything about it because it's genuinely irritating.
I can't believe
that
you've done this.
Awful.
You have so abused your power.
That is beyond bad. Plugs, Kale.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me on Instagram at TotoInto. That's TOTOINTOW. You can find my work at kelward.com. That's CLEWARD.com.
Marco.
Follow me on all socials at Mr. Marco Animoto.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. We will see you next week for an incredible finish to the year with the Pallies. Hopefully you'll join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, we are the Comics Pals signing off. Take care, guys.